Tonight's Chumash, tomorrow's Chumash is Sheni. We're holding now Perek Yud Beis Pasuk Yud Daled, and the last thing we learned is that Avram Avinu tells Sarai, his wife, Imina Achaisi At, that when we come to Mitzrayim, tell the Mitzrayim that you are my sister. That's the last thing we learned. So now, Pasuk Yud Daled, it says Vayihi, and it came. And as the Gemara says, whenever it says a lashon of Vayihi, it connotes something which is sad. So Vayihi, and it came. Kivoy Avram Mitzrayim, when Avram came to Mitzrayim, Vayidu HaMitzrim Esaisha, and the Egyptians saw the woman, saw Sarai. That she was very, very pretty. So Rashi says, Vayihi Kivoy Avram Mitzrayim. What does it mean? And it came to pass when Avram was in Mitzrayim. Rashi's bothered, if we're talking about Sarai and Avram coming to Mitzrayim, the Torah should have said, it should have said, when they come, Lashon Ravim to Mitzrayim. What does it mean? Where was Sarai? What happened to her? Ela limud, rather, the Torah tells us that it was only Avram that came. Why? Because Sarah hitmin oisa b'teva. Avram Avinu hid her in a box. And because the Mitzrayim now asked to open the box to see what's inside for taxes, they opened it and they saw, behold, Sarai herself was in the box. Pasuk Tesvav, Vayidu Oisa Sarai Fari, and Pari's princes saw her. Vayihalu Oisa, and they praised her. El Pari to Pari. Vatuka Ha'isha Bas Pari, and the woman was taken to the house of Pari. Rashi says, what does it mean? Vayihalu Oisa El Pari. What does it mean they praised her to Pari? Now, it doesn't say Vayihalu Oisa B'fnei Pari, which would mashma that they praised her to Pari. Rather, what does the Torah say? The Torah says Vayihalu Oisa El Pari. Why doesn't the Torah say Vayihalu Oisa B'fnei Pari? So from here, Rashi says, Hilulu b'fneim beineim leimer haguna zula melech. They praised amongst themselves, saying that she is fit for the king. Pasuk design, the pasuk says, Ula Avram heitiv ba'avura, and Avram benefited because of her sake. Vayilish tzoyin uvokar v'chamerim, and he had flocks of cattle and donkeys, va'avodim, and servants, ushvachis, and maidservants, va'asonis ugmalim, and she donkeys and camels. Rashi says, Ula Avram heitiv pari ba'avura, Pari benefited him for the sake of her. Then the pasuk says, Vayinaga Hashem es Pari negoim gedolim, and Hashem plagued Pari with great negoim, with great plagues, as Beisa and his household. Why? Al dvar Sarai Eshes Avram, on account of Sarai Avram's wife. Rashi says, Vayinaga Hashem begamer. What does it mean that Hashem struck Pari with negoim gedolim? Rashi says, B'makas ra'oson, which means a plague of Ra'asan. What's Ra'asan? A Ra'asan is like a type of, you have a sheretz, a person Nebuch has a sheretz in his brain, and it's worse than any type of boils, any type of shchin, the Gemara Ksubah says. So Pari had this type of sheretz in his brain. L'cha, so B'makas Ra'asan L'cha, Pari got this sheretz in his brain. Shetashmish, and now why so he got this Ra'asan, which Shetashmish Koshalei, which Tashmish is very, very harmful for him. And that's the punishment he got. And like it's brought down that this sickness is so severe that every time he gets up, he falls down. And therefore Tashmish is very, very kosher. It's very difficult. Now it says Vayinaga Hashem. So we know it was B'makas Rasan, which we said that's in the brain. As Beisay, and it says his household. So Rashi says, Kitargumai, this is like the Targum Onkelos says, Val Enosh Beisa, which means, and his house, as the Targum says, and upon the people of his house. In other words, on the people of his house, he brought Negoim. It doesn't mean the actual house itself, as basically the actual house, but rather Anshe Beisay, which means the people of the house. Umidrashe, the pasuk, the Medrash says, the rabbi comes to include the actual house itself. Ksolov of Amudav V'Kelev, the Medrash says that it comes to include the walls, the pillars, and the actual utensils. That's how Rashi Yoshin, that's how the Medrash learns. So the Targum says Vezbese doesn't actually mean the house, but rather the people of the house, and the Medrash says no, it means the house itself. Then the pasuk says al dvar sarai. The pasuk says that they got negoim as base al dvar sarai eshes Avram because of sarai. So Rashi says, what does it mean al dvar sarai? Al pi dibura, the words al dvar sarai means the words of sarai. What does that mean? So Rashi says that she said to the angel, strike, and he would strike. And the Eibishter made a nest that every time Sarai would say to the Malach, strike, the Malach would strike. Pasuk Yud Ches, Vayikra Pari LaAvram. So Pari now called to Avram. Vayem, and he said, Ma zois asisali, what did you do to me? Lama lehigadid tali, why didn't you tell me ki ishtachahi, that she is your wife? Why did you lie to me? Rashi says, no Rashi. Pasuk Yites, Lama amarta achaisihi, why did you say that she is my sister? Ve'ekach isa lili isha, and that I took her for myself as a wife. And now Pari says, here is your wife and let her go. Rashi says, what does it mean, kach v'leich, let her go? So Rashi says, loy k'Avimelech, not like Avimelech. Pari was very, very quick to get rid of Avram, that he should leave Mitzrayim. Not like Avimelech, who was the Melech Gror, that after he gave back Sarah, what did he tell Avram? Amalei, hine artzi lefanecha. He says, here's the land, and take it. Ela Amalei, rather he said, leich ve'al tamid, don't delay, don't stay in Mitzrayim. Why? It's a sakana for you to stay in Mitzrayim. Sha'Mitzrayim shtufei zimahim, because the Mitzrayim are full of zima, but full of znus. Shenemar, as the pasuk says in Yecheskel, v'zirmas susim zirmosim, which means like the and whose issue is the issue of horses. Like horses are shtufim bezima. So too the Mitzrayim also were shtufim bezima. So therefore Pari said to go now. Pasuk Chov, Vayitzav alav Pari anoshim, and Pari commanded people. Vayishalchu Esav es ishtei v'eskol shalei. Pari commanded men on his behalf, and they escorted him and his wife and all that was his. So Rashi Vayitzav alav al eidesav. Pari commanded men on his behalf, on his account, the shalchu, the shomrei, to escort him and to guard him. Vayishalchu k'targum, like the Targum says, v'iluve, and they escorted him. Perek Yud Gimel Pasuk Aleph. Vayal Avram Mitzrayim hu v'ishtei v'chala shaloi v'leit imay. So now Avram Avinu gets up from Mitzrayim, and he goes to where? He goes to Eretz Yisrael. Hu v'ishtei, him and his wife, v'chala shaloi, and all of his property. V'leit imay hanegba, and Leit, as we said, Leit, who was Haran's son, who was Avram's nephew, went with him hanegba to the south of Eretz Yisrael. Rashi says, Vayal Avram hanegba. What does it mean? And Avram came up to the south. So Rashi says, Lovay l'dreimei shel Eretz Yisrael, to come to the south of Eretz Yisrael. K'mesha Omer l'mayla halech v'nesei hanegba lahar Miriah. As it says, the Torah says, continually traveling southwards to Har Miriah. However, when he went from Mitzrayim to the land of Canaan, he goes from south to north, because Egypt is the south of the land of Eretz Yisrael, as evident by the travels and the boundaries of the land. Pasuk Beis. Avram Kovin Ma'id, and Avram was very, very wealthy. He had a lot of laden with bamikne, with behemes, bakesuf, ubazav, with silver and gold. Rashi says Kovin Ma'id. What does it mean Kovin Ma'id? Ton Masois. He had a lot of pekalach. Pasuk Gimel. Vayelech l'ma'asoiv Minegev ad Beis El, and he went on his journeys from south until Beis El. Adamokim asher hoya sham Ole B'tchila, until Beis El, until the place where he had his tent previously, between Beis El between Beis El and Ai. That's where he went back. So Rashi says, Vayelech L'ma'asov. What does it mean he went on his journeys? K'shechazim Mitzrayim La'eretz Kinan hayahoylech v'lon b'achsenoyis shalahen b'hem b'alichosin l'Mitzrayim. When he returned from Mitzrayim to Eretz Yisrael, he went and he stayed in the same inns where he lodged on his way to Mitzrayim. The Torah teaches us proper etiquette, that a person should not change from where he usually stays. People shouldn't think, oh, why are you not staying there again? Must be there's something wrong with the host. Another explanation why he went back there, Avram Avinu had to pay back his debts, that he borrowed money, so he paid it back his debts. Rashi says from the south, Eretz Mitzrayim, the land of Mitzrayim is south of the land of Canaan. Pasuk Dal and Mekoyim HaMizbeach, to the place of the Mizbeach, Asher Asa Sham B'Rishena, that he had made first. Vayikra Sham Avram B'Shem Hashem, and Avram called her in the name of Hashem. So Rashi says, Asher Asa Sham B'Rishena. What does it mean that he had made first? V'Asher Kora Sham Avram B'Shem Hashem, where Avram had called in the name of Hashem. The Gam Yishlemer Vayikra Sham Achsher B'Shem Hashem. We may also say that it means, and now he called there in the name of Hashem. Have a wonderful night and a wonderful morning if you're listening to this in the morning.